I'm going to be using the Simple Stories Say Cheese 4 collection, as well as these print and cut snippets from Kelly Bell Designs, and I'll talk about that in just a second as well. The sketch that I'm going to be using is from a sketchbook that I purchased a while ago, and I haven't even really done a whole lot of layouts in it, so I really want to knock those out. So I was looking through it, trying to find a sketch that would work with these photos of when we went to Chef Mickey. The right hand side of the layout I follow exactly. The left hand side of the layout I do change up a little bit. I'm going through the papers now, trying to find papers that will go well with the Kelly Bell Designs that I printed out. So I was kind of limited because I wanted to match them up as closely as possible. So there were some pieces that I couldn't use because the colors were a little off. On the right hand side of the layout, it calls for 4 photos, 2 in the portrait and 2 in the landscape. And then you have a center section there where you can add embellishments to it. Then basically it calls for just strips of paper. The photos itself are 10 inches tall when you add them together. So basically the strips are just 10 inches. I really didn't follow the measurements on the sketch because I was trying to figure out what would work best, because the sketch part on the left hand side called for 2 photos in the landscape, and my 2 photos were portrait size. So I knew that I had to change it up a little bit. At first I was going to use the bigger star paper on the right hand side, but I really wanted to have that star paper be prominent. So I went ahead and moved it to the right hand side, and I brought in a smaller print of the stars on the right hand side of the layout. I did say that I was using the Say Cheese 4 collection, but I might have mixed in a couple of the other pieces as well because I have a ton of scraps from all of the Say Cheese collections. So it might not all be from Say Cheese 4, but they all are from Simple Stories. So I'm going to go ahead and ink up all of the edges, and I'm just using black soot for the inking part. Then I was trying to find a piece of paper to go in the center, and I auditioned a ton of paper, and I was really being thrown off with the amount of pattern paper that I had in the stripes, the stars, the polka dots, and that blue paper has white like sparkly, I don't even know what to call it. I call it sparkles, but like little white pieces on it as well. So you can see here where I had gone through a bunch of the paper, and I finally ended up with just this red piece of cardstock. I do cut it down to just have it be on the top and bottom of the photos. I did cut it about a ½ an inch larger than what I was going to need so that it does look like it goes behind the entire piece of the layout. These photos are from my mom's birthday. We do character dining or specialty dining for our birthdays. Because we're pass holders and we go to Disney a lot, we tend to kind of save these more expensive dining options for special occasions like birthdays. So like Eli just celebrated his birthday and we went to sci-fi dinner because he's definitely not into the characters, so he's more interested in like the really cool experiences at the different types of restaurants we can eat in. So because he wasn't really into the characters, Eli was given the option to go and he said he did not want to go, so we just went with my mom and myself, which was a lot of fun to have a day just for her. So on the left hand side, I decided to go ahead and put the photos of Mickey and Minnie, since they are kind of the star of the show. The character dining at Chef Mickey is the Fab Five, so obviously Mickey and Minnie, and then it's Pluto and Goofy as well as Donald. And you'll see those photos on the right hand side of the layout. Then I also was able to find online the Fab Five when Disney announced these new outfits for them, which these outfits are so stinking cute. And it was more of like a banner of the actual website, so I couldn't get it to be a 4x6 because if I did, then I would cut off Goofy's hand as well as Minnie like kind of flaring out her skirt. So Walgreens has the option to print the entire photo, which means that there's going to be white on the top and bottom. And what I decided to do was just use a piece of black cardstock on the paper below the photo, and then I did go ahead and pop that photo of the Fab Five up on Fun Foam. We went to Chef Mickey for breakfast, and I would highly recommend going to Chef Mickey's for breakfast. Now, I haven't had their dinner, and I've heard that their dinner is really good as well, but the food was amazing. We had a fabulous time meeting the characters, and then it doesn't hurt that the food was really good as well. So once I got those photos down, then I went ahead and put the strips of paper on the right hand side down as well. And then in that center little 2x2 square there, I went ahead and put my QR code. So when we were at Chef Mickey, I did record a lot of our interactions. And so that QR code does link to the home video, and I'm absolutely putting that in quote. So if you want to see our interaction, I will link it to the very end of this video if you want to watch how we interacted with the characters. We just have a good time with it. And then it's also on my layout so that if somebody is looking through my albums later on, they can scan that QR code and get to that video as well. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the Kelly Bell Designs. She has a lot of Disney print and cut options on her website. She actually has like the full kits. Like you can actually go in and buy all of the pieces, including the pattern paper and things like that. But some of the kits are very closely connected to the Simple Stories Say Cheese collection. And so, like I said, I did have to pick and choose which papers I used. Like I couldn't use a full sheet of yellow because it was very contrasting against the yellow on hers. But the pieces that I did end up using have enough of the yellow in it, and I made sure that I placed them around the layout where the yellow wasn't too close to it, that it still looks really well. I have a ton of this Say Cheese collection, and while I love the Say Cheese collection, it is very much designed for a person who is there for a once in a lifetime visit, or they go maybe once every 2 or 3 years, which is the norm. It is not in any way designed for a pass holder. So I'm really looking forward to using Kelly Bell Designs to enhance that collection and be able to use up some of that paper and some of those pieces that I'm just not able to use because I am so overusing the Best Day Ever or the other very generic embellishment pieces that are in that collection. Simple Stories did just release a collection that includes Epcot, Animal Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, but one of the big things that is kind of a turnoff with those, when I just purchased the ones for Magic Kingdom, so they had like Frontier and Adventureland and Fantasyland, when I was doing a layout that is going up at the end of the month, it was for the Frontierland Shootin' Arcade, and the tag that I planned to use just said Frontier, but the location is called Frontierland Shootin' Arcade, so I had to actually not use that piece to be able to get the title correct on it, which I don't have a problem with, and I probably will use it maybe like in another layout, but not when the name of the attraction is Frontierland. I'm not going to use a tag that says Frontier on it. All of that to say, I will link Kelly Bell Designs below if you want to check out her print and cut features. The ones that I used were very simple. I used my silhouette in the print and cut feature, but you could absolutely print them out and then fussy cut them, especially for the ones that I ended up using because they were really just kind of square shapes and very simple shapes. So I ended up using the tag that said yum, and it has like a plate and a fork and a knife on it. Down at the bottom, that tag just says at the chef's table, and then over on the right it has a chef's hat and it says Chef Mickey's. I did pull out my wood veneer and added a couple of stars and then some black enamel hearts as well as some red sparkly enamel dots. All right, so here is my final layout as well as some close-ups. I also included the postcard that you get. When you do character dining at Disney, they will give you a postcard. On one side, it's usually something about where it's at. So for this particular one, it's the Fab Five in a monorail because it is in the Contemporary where that is the hotel that the monorail goes through. And then the other side usually has like the logo of the restaurant that you're eating at as well as the signatures. I went ahead and added that to a smaller page protector and then use my fuse tool to fuse the sides together so that it actually is a page protector for my card, and you can see that in the close-ups there. All right, if you enjoyed this video, if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up, I would really appreciate it. If you haven't done so already and you want to see more double page layout inspiration, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thanks everyone for watching, and I hope that you have a scrappy day.